Cotton Bowl, Texas, Ohio State. Let's make a pick.
You are Locked On College Football, smothered and covered, with your host, Barrett Sallee. Your one-stop shop for everything college football. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, welcome into the Tuesday edition of College Football Smothered and Covered. My name is Barrett Sallee. Appreciate you guys checking out the show. Today's show brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. And you know you want to do that because tickets are at a premium to semifinals this week. And, of course, the national championship in a couple weeks here in Atlanta. Plus, the NFL playoffs are around. And you know what? You got to get some tickets to those. So go to Game Time. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. Got a big show to get to today. We'll talk about FCS title games. North Dakota State won yesterday in Frisco, Texas. The 10th FCS National Championship. New year, new Dabo. Yeah, Dabo's evolving. I don't even know what to do with my hands, like Will Ferrell. But first, we picked the Orange Bowl yesterday. It's time to pick the Cotton Bowl. First things first, I hope they actually play the Cotton Bowl. My colleague at Outkick, Trey Wallace, is flying in a day early, and he's talked to some officials, and the Cotton Bowl released a statement last night that they're monitoring the situation. 6 to 12 inches in Dallas, ice on the roads, no snow plows, no salting machines. That might get sketchy. Where we go from there, if it does get postponed, wait and see. I've got some ideas. We'll talk about that in another show if we need to. All right, let's talk about the game itself. Ohio State is, I think we all know what Ohio State's done. They've gone from the outhouse to the penthouse. This team was a joke. This team was a laughingstock. Ryan Day was on the verge of getting fired. And hell, now they might be erecting a statue for Ryan Day. The way they've played the first two games is at an elite level that we haven't seen from many teams in a very long time. I'm talking about LSU 2019, Alabama back in 2009, I should say. Like, this is next level stuff. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, oh, they have 2 losses. Yeah, they do. That doesn't mean that they can't play at that level, and that's exactly where they are. They're going up against a Texas team. Like, from a matchup perspective, I'm super excited about this because we know what Ohio State is in terms of skill positions, right? Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka. They've got, obviously, the 2 running backs in Henderson and Judkins. So going to put a lot of stress on any defense, and that's exactly why they've won in such a big way each of the last 2 games. This is different. This is Texas. This is a defense that is as consistent as the sunrise. You look at last week, for example, Jahdae Barron won Defensive MVP of the Peach Bowl National Quarterfinal. There are a few of us who got to vote on that, and we picked him. And then Andrew Mbuka had the game-winning interception down in the corner of the end zone. I mean, look, the guy who won the game didn't even get MVP. And I will stand by that. But that's how good this Texas team is. With that said, Chip Kelly is on a heater. Chip Kelly has learned from his mistake, which was, I don't know why he wanted to pound the rock up the middle consistently against Michigan, but that's what he did. And then it seems like in the playoff, he realized, oh, Jeremiah Smith exists on this roster. Emeka Egbuka exists on this roster. Will Howard actually can throw the ball, which those of you who have watched this show consistently know I am not the biggest Will Howard guy. At least I wasn't. The matchup is just perfect. You know that that GIF, chef's kiss, or that picture, mwah, the matchup when Ohio State has the ball. I mean, you can't ask for more intrigue. You can't ask for more intrigue. And what's also fascinating about this is Ohio State's offensive line apparently learned how to play football once the postseason began. It was a liability, now it's a strength. Can that continue against this Texas defense? 2 weeks ago, I'd have said, hell no, there's no way. Now it's like, okay, yeah, they can. And I think they can at least get to a stalemate. And that's, if you get to a stalemate, you let your skill positions cook. I'm picking Ohio State to win. And it's not because of that matchup. Because it's again, stalemate. That's what I think is going to happen. But it's because of Quinn Ewers. I got asked on a radio station on 560 in Memphis Monday morning to rank the remaining quarterbacks. And I'll tell you, it was hard. It was hard. I went Will Howard, again, shock of all shocks. I went Will Howard, Riley Leonard, Drew Aller, and Quinn Ewers. And then I said it, I was like, really? Is that where Quinn Ewers is? Yes. He's not a liability, but he's not a strength. He's an above average quarterback who's not going to lose you games, which, the term game manager gets thrown around as a negative attribute. It's actually a positive attribute. That's the quarterback's primary job, manage the game. Are any of these guys difference makers? I think they can be. But I'm with Quinn Ewers, I don't think he really is. So now you're going up against this Ohio State defense. You're going up against an Ohio State defense that has been lights out, that gets pressure. What have we seen from Texas's offensive line against good front sevens? It can be a problem. Now, is Ohio State comparable to Georgia? No, maybe not. But it's still pretty damn good. It's still pretty damn good. So I think that's where this is going to be won and lost. And I know it's easy to put it on the quarterback. Yes. But we saw Quinn Ewers struggle against Arizona State. And it was bad for 3.5 quarters. Same thing going to happen against Ohio State? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Could he prove me wrong? Yeah, he's got the physical attributes. There's no doubt about it. Will the home crowd help him? Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Which, again, unfair to Ohio State that they get punished because Oregon lost. The reason they're playing in Texas is because the number 1 seed Oregon is closer to Dallas than Miami, but the number 1 seed isn't there. It's ridiculous. Such a stupid, stupid format. Anyway, I think if Quinn Ewers makes one mistake through the air, this game's going to get sideways. This game's going to get sideways. And what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to be more aggressive than they were against Arizona State when, they got up to a 2-score lead and kind of just hung out for a little while. Same thing happened in the SEC Championship game where, yeah, it was a close game with Georgia, but it was a low-scoring game. So why risk it? Why open things up? They're going to have to against Ohio State. And I don't think Quinn Ewers can handle that. So give me Ohio State. Give me Ohio State to win 35-24. 35-24. I don't love that score. Would I actually bet it? No. Would I bet it with your money? You're a viewer, a subscriber, a commenter. So no, I appreciate you guys. Would I do it with my enemy's money? Maybe. That's where I'm at. 35-24. Ohio State moves on to the national championship game to play Notre Dame. If you watched yesterday, or if you watched it today and didn't watch yesterday, you can see the preview for that game. on Monday's show. We'll take a break. When we come back, talk about a new year. New Dabo Swinney. Wait, what? Yeah, Dabo Swinney's changed in a big, big way. We'll talk about it next. College football smothered and covered. And of course, we are powered by the Locked On Podcast Network. Today's show is brought to you by our good friends at Game Time. Are you attending the semifinals, the finals, NFL playoffs? Do you want to go to any of these games? Well, it's an incredible experience that brings fans together like never before. I remember the excitement of past playoff games, 4-team, 2-team, BCS Championship, all that stuff. They were exciting. But this has been a month of excitement. You guys know it. You guys have seen it. And now it's time to make new memories with Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. It filters out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. So you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONCollege. That's LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I'll tell you what, tickets are going to be at a premium in Miami. Those Notre Dame, they travel. So do Penn State fans. But Notre Dame fans, you really do. Let's go to Game Time. Check them out. They do a great job over there. All right. Remember back in the day when Dabo Swinney didn't accept transfer players and was too loyal to his coaches, and everybody made fun of him unnecessarily because Dabo's an easy target for a lot of reasons. Some fair, some not, especially with some of the mindsets of people in this business. But he's changed. Got a couple of transfers in. We're excited about that. And Monday, he fired defensive coordinator Wes Goodwin. Now, the talent has been there. The execution is not. Like, it's not like Clemson's defense was bad, but it wasn't what it should be. But what's interesting to me is the quote from Dabo. He didn't throw him under the bus, but he wasn't exactly complimentary either. I want to thank Wes for his character, commitment, leadership, and dedication, as well as the relentless work ethic with which he approached his job every day. Wes has been a part of our program for 13 of the past 16 years and played an instrumental role in all of our success. Note, didn't say anything about this year. He also says, I will start the interview process immediately and will hope to have our new defensive coordinator named by the end of the month or sooner. Staff has been hard at work, blah, 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 blah. So it's been in the works for a while. I think it's fair to say that there's a soft landing point for Wes Goodwin, and it is Oklahoma in some way, shape, or form, because he was on the Clemson staff with Brent Venables. But Dabo is what Kirby Smart was the year of the first national title in 2021. I remember sitting in Indianapolis, and we were there for a week. We had press conference after press conference after press conference, and by the end of it, we're just asking, hey, what do you had for dinner? Like, it's ridiculous. But one thing that Kirby Smart said at that time, which I think is applicable to Dabo now, is that he wants to develop his own players. He wants OKG, our kind of guys. And he pounded his chest that year, saying that he didn't accept a single transfer. He was proud of that, really proud of that. He didn't accept a single transfer the year before, the offseason before. They won a national championship. The next season they did, a couple of them, Tyke Smith, Rod Thomas, Dominic Lovett, but nobody big, right? That's where Dabo is. OKG, our kind of guys. But he's not married to it now. Yes, he's going to go target players in the transfer portal. Yes, he's going to have to take some risks on whether they fit in. I think he's been reluctant to that. I think that's been one of the biggest things, is that he built his success on recruiting players that fit in a family. Yes, they were top 5, top 10 classes pretty much every single season, but he didn't go after just any 5-star. He went after the 5-star that fit the personality of his team. Maybe to a fault, but that's been his mindset. And that's why he's been reluctant to do this. But now we've seen, in a new year, new Dabo. And the reason I use that phrase is because my daughter said, new year, new me, when it comes to New Year's resolutions, which means she's going to bed by herself. She's taking a bath by herself. She's doing all that stuff by getting up, getting dressed, all that stuff by herself. So new year, new Dabo is doing the stuff that is a little different. Change things up a little bit. And this is what it takes for Clemson to get back on top, because Clemson didn't fall from grace. Last year, they had a 9-win season, and that was considered the floor. That was considered unacceptable. You know who also is in that spot right now, don't you? Alabama. And I'm not saying Dabo's got the same pressure as Kalen DeBoer next year. I mean, Clemson made the playoff this year. Won the ACC this year. But all it takes is a little tweak. All it takes is a little bit of self-awareness. All it takes is a little bit of humility. And that'll go a long way for a program like Clemson that has, I mean, it's crazy to say championship pedigree, because when I was in my 20s, Clemson was a joke and Clemsoning was an insult. And Tommy Bowden was laughed at, was a punchline. But Clemson has that championship pedigree now. But all it takes is a little tweak. All it takes is a little tweak. And that can go a long way. And that's exactly what I think is going to happen with Clemson. New year, new Dabo. It's going to work. They're going to be obviously in the playoff pretty much every year. But bold statement, they're going to win the college football playoff within 3 seasons. Within 3 seasons. Dabo's going to get right, and he's showing it right now. We'll take a break. When we come back, some FCS thoughts after last night's title game. What are they? We'll find out next. It's College Football Smothered and Covered, and of course, we are powered by Locked On. Today's episode is brought to you by our good friends from FanDuel. From big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Think about that. Win or lose. If you bet $5, they give you $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. The FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets, same-game parlays, and so much more. Live betting has been a big part of my life. Even if I don't bet, I look at FanDuel and think, wow, Notre Dame's now a 10-point favorite over Indiana. What happened? Find out at FanDuel. All that stuff's right there on the same page as well. And think about it, $5. If you're new to betting, right? If you're new to betting and you kind of want to dip your toe in and place a $5 bet on the Orange Bowl on Thursday night, it doesn't matter if you win. They're going to give you $200. You can use that money to dip your toe in to the gambling scene, not just for the rest of the college football playoff, but also the NFL and beyond. Just go to FanDuel.com today. FanDuel.com. They'll get you started with that $200 in bonus bets. FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, the FCS title game was last night. North Dakota State over Montana State. Look, North Dakota State, the Dakotas basically run FCS football. The Dakotas in Montana. They run college football. I wish it was Idaho because I'd love to see playoff games at the Kibbe Dome, but that's neither here nor there. But it was in Frisco, Texas. It's been in Frisco, Texas for 6 years now? The home of Sam Houston. think about what would have happened. Montana State was undefeated going into that game. Think about what would have happened if it was in Montana. You know, we talk about how we want on-campus games in FBS football all the time in the postseason. And after the first week of this 12-team playoff, it was one of the big talking points. It was like, man, that atmosphere at Notre Dame was great. Even though Tennessee fans invaded Ohio State, man, Ohio State fans came to play and drowned out those Tennessee fans early. Like, everybody talked about that. How cool would it be to bring the national championship back to an on-campus stadium? It'd be great. Why Frisco, Texas? You're going to get a Dakota or a Montana, and maybe two Dakotas and two Montanas, or some combination thereof in the national championship game in FCS pretty much every single season. Let's go back to the tradition of having on-campus games in the FCS playoffs from the moment we begin. I don't see the reason that we have bowl games and on-campus, or bowl games and national championship games that are bid out, is because of money. I don't have the number in front of me, but how much money does Frisco, Texas get out of the FCS championship game on a Monday night? Can't imagine it's that much. So we need to get back to on campus. Montana State hosting the national championship game yesterday. Oh my God. It'd have been awesome. There's breaking news from Brandon Marcello, my good friend over at CBS, where I used to work. Statement from the Cotton Bowl: we are routinely monitoring weather reports, and we are in close contact with AT&T Stadium and local officials. We always have plans for inclement weather should conditions warrant it. We will communicate to everyone attending and connected with this year's Cotton Bowl Classic. That was a statement from the college football playoff. This is going to be an S show if it's in Dallas on Friday or Arlington, whatever. How do you fix it? Well, I'm not a meteorologist. We'll cross that bridge when you come to it. I would be on alert if I'm Atlanta, the Peach Bowl folks who run a little bit of the national championship game, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, because Lord knows they don't need it for the Falcons. I would be on alert to move the national championship game. Maybe a week to the following Monday, I don't know. But I would be on alert, because you can't sit here and say, okay, let's move the Cotton Bowl back a couple of days, and that just gives the Orange Bowl winner just a massive, massive advantage. It's not like one day at New Orleans. You're talking about multiple days, because Dallas is not ready for that kind of weather. Hey, join the subtext group. I'll send you cool pictures. You can text me down in Miami or Fort Lauderdale for the game. Going to the Hard Rock Casino tomorrow night, because I got to throw some dice. And it's looking like I might be stuck in the Fort Lauderdale airport on Friday. So entertain me, please, because it's supposed to sleet here in Atlanta, and I ain't landing in an airplane with sleet. So do that. The link is below. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, everybody. No show Wednesday morning, but there will be one Wednesday afternoon from the Meridian Hotel in Fort Lauderdale. Have a good one.